Thank you for joining us today. With me on the line is Mr. Dave Dubeau, very successful real estate investor, capital raising specialist, author, speaker, and some might say the best looking real estate investor and most modest in Canada.
I do.
So thank you so much for joining us today, Dave.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, a pleasure to have you here. And one of the things that often comes up when you and I are having discussions, or just, when I'm talking with investors as well, is, you say that people go about raising capital primarily the wrong way. Can you tell us, what is it that they're doing wrong? And, maybe what should they be doing differently?
Yeah, so Ming, what I see, especially with a lot of newbie capital raisers, when they're just first getting started, they rush out like I did back in the day, kind of like a bull in a china shop, right? They got a really good deal. They've run out of cash, they run out of credit. They need to raise money yesterday. So they become a little bit desperate. Or as my friend Steve Chandler says, they become needy, and needy is creepy, right? So
yeah,
some of the biggest mistakes I see people making over and over again, let me know if you've ever seen any of this, they'll start promoting their deal on Facebook and social media. Okay. And they kind of, the thinking behind it, I understand it. The thinking behind it is, you know what? I'll take whatever I can get. Anybody with a pulse and a checkbook that doesn't bounce, that's good enough for me. And, on the surface, that kind of makes sense. But there's two big issues that I see with this, Ming. And number one is just logic and common sense, right? In order for somebody to invest 50, 75, 100 grand with you, they need to know you. They need to like you. They need to trust you with your money, with their money. So if you're going out to strangers or just kind of Facebook friends that don't really know you, they don't really know you. They don't really like you. And they sure as hell do not trust you with their money. So you're starting from scratch. And that's a really clumsy way to go about it. And then the second big issue for us Canucks up here is this little thing. Well, in your neck of the woods, the Ontario Securities Commission. Right.
Yes.
In BC, we've got our own version. Every single province has their own securities regulator. And not that I'm an accountant or a securities lawyer or securities specialist or anything, but here's my understanding. It's illegal for us to raise capital from the general public unless we're either licensed to do something like that, like a stockbroker or a financial planner, or maybe even a mortgage broker can do that. Or if we get something like an offering memorandum set up, which tends to be very expensive, lots of hoops to jump through, lots of legal paperwork. So for most of us, just getting started with raising our first, whatever, several $100,000 to $1 million for a smaller deal, that's a little bit beyond the scope of, the expense of doing that makes it tough to justify. So where does that leave us? Well, that leaves us with a much more logical place to start, which is what we're going to be talking about when I speak for your group, which is focus on the low-hanging financial fruit first. Mm-hmm. And that's people that you already have a pre-existing relationship with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Some advice I got early on in my investing was, a joint venture is like marriage. And when you're financially married to that person, and you wouldn't date like that, put it up on Facebook, and whoever, answers your ad and that's the one you marry, you shouldn't.
Probably not. Yeah,
probably not. So why would you do it for JV? So it makes a ton
well,
of sense.
And the thing I'm more concerned about is the legal ramifications for people, right?
Absolutely,
we see so many people do it, and they might get away with it for a while until they don't. And when they get smacked, that smack can be very, very painful, financially, professionally, personally, because you're talking about crossing the line basically with the government. So they got the power to put a big, big, big kibosh on things. So be very, very careful about that.
Absolutely. So if you like what you heard and you want to come find out more, Dave is speaking to the Volition Group September 15th, I believe it is, at 7 p.m. If you want to find out more about the meetup, you can go to our website, www.volitionprop.com. Links will be, below or above wherever this happens to land. And if you want to find out more about Dave, you can go to his website, moneypartnerformula.com. That's moneypartnerformula.com. If you want to learn more about Mr. Dave Dubeau.
Thanks. Hey, quick question.
Hmm.
When I come speak for your group, I'm going to be zooming in, not quite as fun as live and in person, but hey, we're still in waves of some sort or another. Is it okay if I bring some freebies and some giveaways for people? Are you open to that? Do your folks like
Absolutely. We are a group of cheapies, so we love free stuff.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring some free stuff. So I'll bring some free gifts for people that are there live. And how about if we do this? How about if we do a couple of draws based on skill testing questions? So you have to be there, you have to pay attention, and then I'll have a couple of draws for some Amazon gift cards. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome. I love the idea.
Nice. I'll do it.
Great. So again, September 15th, 7 p.m. Check us out, volitionprop.com. And thank you so much, Dave, for your time today.
Ming, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for all that you do and for the support that you offer for all your folks. And hey, bud, I had you speak for my group a few weeks ago. It was fantastic. So thank you very much for everything that you do as well.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.